Aaron Donald finally has retired from terrorizing opposing quarterbacks in the National Football League. 8-time All Pro, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, 10-time Pro Bowler, and he has 111 total sacks. To me, he's a top 5 defensive player in NFL history. In terms of the past decade, in my generation, he's the best defensive player that I've ever watched, better than J.J. Watt. And when I think of Aaron Donald, I think of a trailblazer. I think of somebody who absolutely transformed how people go about evaluating the defensive tackle position. Because years ago, you weren't seeing a lot of undersized defensive tackles that were less than 300 pounds getting drafted. Aaron Donald comes in, and all of a sudden, everybody wants a smaller interior defensive lineman that can get after the quarterback. How do you feel about Aaron Donald? And, what is going to be his legacy for you?
Yeah, for me, it's kind of what you said at the end there. Um, just gonna reference back to basketball just a little bit. When Michael Jordan was drafted in the '80s, um, teams laughed at the Bulls. They were like, "You're drafting this skinny guard out of North Carolina over, a big man," because that's how the game was played back then. Um, but Michael Jordan obviously changed the game of basketball, and the same can be said about Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald changed the way the NFL, valued the defensive tackle position as a pass rusher. Interior pressure became, you know, a much more important, factor and feat and ability that you look for in a defensive tackle. Everyone has been trying to find the next Aaron Donald for the past 10 years. So, yeah, I think he's just gonna go down as obviously a phenomenal player. Hard worker, um, guy who played through quadruple teams and everything. But I think the main thing is he honestly changed the game of football, and that's something that for me as a scout, you have to acknowledge and respect because like the way he played, kind of changed, the way me and my peers, see the position.
Definitely. And when I think of Aaron Donald, I'm always going to remember the final drive of that Super Bowl win against the Cincinnati Bengals. It's him, Von Miller, terrorizing Joe Burrow. And you could just see, the look in Joe Burrow's face is just like, oh, shit, like our terrible offensive line is finally coming to haunt us, man. And Aaron Donald, bro, it's like, you listen to the way opposing quarterbacks describe playing against this dude, it's like, you were damn near fearful of your damn career when he was coming at you, bro. Like, you used to hate having to see this dude because it's like, he was going to get to you eventually. It just was a matter of when. And,
Yeah.
we already know he's going to be a gold jacket in Canton in a few years. He's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. But for you, where does he rank in terms of all-time talents in NFL history defensively?
Um, that's tough. Um, that's tough because there've been a lot of great defensive players. Um, some of them I haven't even been able to go back and watch yet because I am fairly new to this, football thing. I was mainly a basketball guy growing up, but based on the players I've seen, which I haven't seen everybody yet, I think he's definitely, firmly in the top 10, and I think top 5 like is it's a reasonable conversation. Like because again, he changed the way people saw or evaluated defensive tackles. Like it was never anymore about, oh, can you just space eat and can you just potentially be able to play 3 downs and just get some interior push. Now everyone is looking for your defensive tackle to be able to cross chop, to be able to bull rush, to be able to do spin moves and all kind of crazy, be able to line up at a wide 9 tech or 5 tech or 3 tech and be able to rush. So yeah, I agree with you, and I think that him being a top 5 defensive player at all time is pretty fair. Pretty fair
And for the Los Angeles Rams, this definitely is a happy but sad day because you know that Aaron Donald is going to be enshrined in not just Rams franchise history, but in NFL history. But it also is going to be a gigantic blow to their defense going into next season because Aaron Donald was one of those players on defense that he had the rare ability to win you games just by himself with his impact at times. He could flip 3-4 games for you. So that definitely is going to be a loss that the Rams are going to have a hard time. I don't even think you're going to be able to replace a guy like Aaron Donald because he's a once-in-a-lifetime kind of player.